You are welcome to this edition of Power Wheel, a production of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. We bring you trending reports in the power sector. But first, the headlines. Minister of Power assures Senate of commitment to addressing sector challenges. Borno State Governor Professor Zulum seeks TCN collaboration on improving bulk power delivery. TCN South Energies partner to deliver 1,000 megawatts energy to Echo Atlantic City. This and more will come your way in this edition as you stay with us. I am Chinwenwa Anyao. The Minister of Power, Engineer Saleh Maman, has assured that his team, comprising the heads of agencies in the power sector, are committing to addressing challenges in the Nigerian power sector.
Engineer Maman, who was accompanied by all the heads of agencies and parastatals in the power sector, disclosed this at an interactive session with the Senate Committee on Power at the National Assembly complex recently.
I want to assure you we want to assure you that our maximum cooperation. We also want to please you to please give us the maximum cooperation.
The minister also sought the cooperation of the Senate towards strategic interactions that will drive progress in the power sector. The senator representing Benue North East Senatorial District and Chairman Senate Committee on Power, Senator Gabriel Sozwan, welcomed the Minister of Power and the other heads of public agencies in the power sector to the interactive session with members of the committee. He said the interaction was important for the members of the committee to familiarize themselves with the heads of the agencies in the power sector to help them facilitate the budget proposal defense of the ministry and its agencies.
The committee met at the inaugural meeting and felt that we should have an initial interaction with you and your people so as to get familiar with ourselves, so that from next week when you start the budget defense, we'll be taking you piecemeal, maybe take parastatals, and then we'll take you last as the father of the ministry.
The committee chairman told the minister that the Senate committee was also concerned about the challenges in the power sector as he expressed confidence in the power sector theme.
My interaction with some of your parastatals have also shown me that there's seriousness on the part of all of them. But we need to show a lot more commitment for us to be able to address some of these problems.
Senator Suzwan, who pledged the committee's commitment towards supporting the ministry and the agency's efforts to addressing them, said,
I want to urge all of us to cooperate among ourselves so that we can once and for all address the power problem. We are aware that if we're able to address even just 60% of the challenges we have in power, this country will address the poverty issues. Because with power, I can have a cottage industry in my village, ditto for any one of us. And that could absolve some of these youth that in absence of what to do, they are engaged in criminality. And so power is very central in what the president wants to achieve. If only we achieve 60% power challenges, we'll be able to address also 70% of Nigerian problems.
Towards ensuring that there is more access to electricity in Borno State, the state governor, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, says he will continuously collaborate with the Transmission Company of Nigeria, just as he seeks the company's assurance to deliver more bulk power projects in the state.
The governor made this plea when he paid a courtesy visit to the management of the TCN at its corporate headquarters in Abuja. He also invited TCN to participate at the forthcoming Security and Development Summit to be hosted by the state.
We are inviting the TCN to participate as one of the major stakeholders. Secondly, I'm also pleased to bring to your kind notice that the government of Borno State is willing to start electrifying the towns of Dikwa, Mafa, Dikwa, Gamborungala by next year. And inshallah we shall finish. So I think somehow along the line we shall cross-fertilize our ideas when we reach that stage. But definitely we shall give you enormous support, both in terms of security, logistics, accommodation, and what have you been, to ensure that the grid is being taken to all the local government headquarters of Borno State.
Governor Zulum said the current insurgency in the states and other parts of the Northeast brought about humanitarian crisis and poor economic activity that has increased the poverty rate.
The insurgency has triggered acute humanitarian and post-displacement crisis with devastating social and economic impact on the population, further deepening fragility and the poverty in the Northeast sub-region. And I think the most important thing is for us to address the root causes of the insurgency, which are not limited to endemic poverty, unemployment, poor social economic outcome, poor economic infrastructure, environmental degradation, drug abuse, climate change, among others. And therefore, power is very important. We need power to provide sustainable economic growth in the region.
He said the state needs the support of TCN in complementing the effort by providing key bulk power facilities in the state to enable the evacuation of more power across rural areas.
Borno State will bounce back again. But we need your support. Power is very important.
Responding, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Mr. UG Mohammed, said the company under the present management has used innovative means and the enhanced capacity of the in-house engineers to deliver many power transmission projects.
Using TCN staff, using innovative method where we did a lot of cost saving. You remember we completed Damaturu substation using our staff. That is part of what we did to expand the grid. And if you look at the Northeast, where we have the weakest link in the power value chain, we commissioned Meduguri and Damaturu within these 2 years. And that add 100% of this kind of capacity in the Northeast.
Mr. Mohammed further revealed plans to expand the grid and bulk power transmission capacity in the Northeast.
Now, under the Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Program, where we are trying to expand the grid and increase the capacity of the grid to 20,000 megawatt by 2022. Your Excellency, I want to tell you we are on track in terms of implementation. And all the $1.661 billion that we have attracted are already under implementation. Some of them are even effective. Your Excellency, we have also achieved frequency control that has never been achieved in the history of Nigeria. And as at now, I can't tell you that the problem of transmission has been resolved, but I can tell you that anywhere we have problem, we have a plan on how to resolve it. And we are putting redundancy across the nation. And even in the Northeast, we are building 3 additional 330 kV substations in the Northeast, which will increase the capacity by adding maybe about 300% of what we met. So this is what we are doing, Your Excellency.
Addressing the governor specifically on the plans to increase the bulk power wheeling capacity of TCN in Borno State, Mr. Mohammed said,
and for Borno, we have plan of Borno. We also know that part of the reason why the Northeast is where it is because of access to electricity. There are some places in Borno where I come from, like you, where they are more than 1,000 kilometers away from the nearest generation station. Now, if these places like Manguno, Marte, they are served on a 33 kV low voltage, the quality of power cannot do any economic activity. And that is the reason why, as part of our plan, we have secured $200 million from the African Development Bank to extend capacity mainly in Borno and there are few places in Nasser, Adamawa, and in Yobe. The reason is that we believe that the only way we can resolve the insecurity crisis in the Northeast, especially in Borno, we can only solve it if we provide economic activity for the people. And there's no way there will be economic activity without electricity. And therefore, we are determined to ensure that we put it. And I want to acknowledge the support we receive from Governor Kashim Shettima. Because when we designed that project, we did a collaboration with the state. It is the state that provided the security for all our consultants that will do the study.
He assured the governor that the company will collaborate with the state government in terms of delivering more bulk power.
We'll work with you, Your Excellency, to ensure that we solve the problem of the state, because it's very pathetic that every day we hear our people die. We will work with you to ensure that anything we can do to support you, we'll do it, Your Excellency. Thank you very much.
Let's take a break for a message. Please stay tuned.
Do not build under transmission power lines for your safety and health. Electricity power lines and substations, either for power transmission or power distribution services, are extremely dangerous when exposed to direct human contact. These power lines and substations transmit electricity that lights up our homes and offices, power our computers, TVs, and refrigerators. On the other hand, the same electricity when exposed is extremely dangerous. It can shock, electrocute, and kill anyone on its way. That is why everyone must adopt safety measures whenever we use or are close to electricity facilities like power lines or substation or transformers. For the safety of the people and animals, governments all over the world have approved way leave or right-of-way of 50 meters for 330 kV power lines and 30 meters for 132 kV power lines, and for 33 kV lines the way leave is 15 meters. People are not expected to be found within this way leave or right-of-way for safety reasons. The lines can suddenly cut and fall to the ground with very disastrous consequences such as fire and electrocution of anybody and destruction of anything, be it vehicle, houses or vegetation on its line. It has also been established that power lines and substation emit electromagnetic fields, EMF, which is dangerous to human health. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that people who spend long hours under or close high-tension lines stand the risk of being affected by EMF and be vulnerable to cancer, leukemia in children, miscarriages among pregnant women, and other terrible diseases. It is therefore advisable not to build any structure or operate any business under or near any electricity high-tension lines or substations. TCN wants you to stay alive, stay safe, stay healthy, avoid power lines. This message is from the management of Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has revealed plans to build the Eastern Transmission Backbone Line in Nigeria that will strengthen bulk power capacity around the Eastern Corridor and connect the West African Power Pool, WAP, to the Central African Power Pool in Cameroon.
The Managing Director, CEO of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Mr. UG Mohammed, disclosed this recently during a meeting of the TCN Project Management Unit and the French Development Agency, AFD, in Abuja.
The main objective is to enable connection with Central African Power Pool. The second objective is to ensure that we take electricity to the most deprived part of Nigeria. If you look at Northern Cross River, from Calabar to Ikom is about 5 hours. From Ikom to Agoja is about 2 hours. The whole of this area has no transmission interface, which this project is supposed to solve. Now, if you look at the entire northeast of Nigeria, 6 states get supplied through a single circuit line that ran from Gombe to Jos to Gombe. Anytime that line is out, the whole of Northeast have no electricity, 6 states, and that is a single circuit line. There's no redundancy, no alternative route of supply. This kind of thing has happened in 2000 and November 2018, and the whole 3 days, whole 6 states of Nigeria has no supply for 3 days. This project is to solve that problem.
Mr. Mohammed said the project will enable Nigeria to increase the quantum of bulk electricity that could be transmitted to Niger Republic, which is one of the international customers for the Nigerian electricity supply industry.
This line is also helping to close loop that will provide flexibility and high quantity of power to Niger.
He explained the significance of the project, which will also evacuate power as an alternative line from the Odukpani NIPP power plant in Cross River State and the proposed Mambila hydropower plant in Taraba State.
This line is already considered by the ECOWAS head of states and government in their meeting of 22nd of December 2018, and it has been approved as a multinational project, which means it's a project that Nigeria is interested in financing.
Mohammed also lauded the work of AFD, especially in bringing the Abuja transmission wheeling scheme to fruition. Under the project, TCN is building 330 and 132 kilovolts line to increase the bulk power delivery capacity of TCN in Abuja and its environs.
This project is going on and is going on at the speed that we need. So I want to use this opportunity to once again thank you and to tell you that we are really very grateful for what you have done for this country. Thank you very much.
The AFD team leader on power projects, Mr. Jeremy Gauss, said the AFD team and the TCN project management unit will need to discuss more on the project to enable seamless delivery.
The line routes that is proposed just in the terms of reference for the feasibility studies seems to be a bit, straight to difficult areas. So we need to discuss this project, or this project start in the beginning, and then we'll be able to say if we can go further with you.
The AFD team also paid a courtesy call on the Minister of State for Power, Mr. Godi J.D. Agba, after the meeting with the Managing Director, CEO of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
The management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria and promoters of the Eco Atlantic City in Lagos have begun a partnership that would deliver 1,000 megawatts of electricity from the national grid to the city.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Mr. UG Mohammed, who addressed the press during his visit to the city at Victoria Island in Lagos, said,
"We are here because we have conducted a study under which we want to supply Eco Atlantic directly from the grid. Meaning Eco Atlantic City will be connected directly to the grid so that we supply power to this place. The study that we have conducted have indicated that gradually the power requirement of Eco Atlantic is going to be close to up to 1,000 megawatt. But it will take a long time before we reach that. Therefore, we are going to build a 330 kV double circuit line from Lekki to Eco Atlantic. But we are going to step down and supply Eco Atlantic at this time at 132. So that when the need for 330 comes up in the future, we don't need to build a new line. We'll only add the transformers, meaning build the substation at 330. That's all.
Mohammed also announced that the pre-qualification of contractors for construction of the transmission line and the bulk power delivery substation was ongoing.
We have advertised for the pre-qualification of the contractors for both the line and the substation. I also want to tell you that we are working closely with the Lagos State government. They have given us all the support that we need, and the right of way has been established, and we are working to ensure that we realize that.
He said the eligible customer regulation in the power sector permits the project promoters, South Energies, to become eligible customer that could contract TCN for bulk power delivery through the use of transmission network to the city.
Under the eligible customer declaration that was declared by the Minister of Power, the then former Minister of Power, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, any point load customer that can consume up to 2 megawatt and above can be connected to the grid directly through what we call eligible customer. So Eco Atlantic is going to be eligible customer and they will be connected directly to the grid. So there will be no disco requirement. As of today, we have about 8 customers that are connected directly to the grid under eligible customer arrangement.
Mohammed said the bulk power delivery to Eco Atlantic City will begin with 30 megawatts before it grows to about 1,000 megawatts in the future.
All arrangement to do it, to reach the 1,000 is what we are putting in place.
Mr. Khalid Badr, who is the utility manager South Energies Nigeria Limited, promoting and developing the Eco Atlantic City, said the company was committed to providing all the infrastructure facilities, including constant and stable electricity supply to the city.
Eco Atlantic City development is one of the Nigerian projects which is for the future. Everybody here is working to realize this project because it is a very good potential for Lagos City, and you can see that a lot of real estate project has started here already, and from our side we are committed to provide all the infrastructure facilities, including the electrical power, to all our partners here in Eco Atlantic City.
On the partnership the firm entered with TCN, Mr. Badr said the company was comfortable as an eligible customer to contract electricity directly from the national grid through TCN.
With TCN, we will be able to realize this under the eligible customer regime. All the infrastructure related to electrical power distribution within Eco Atlantic City is almost ready to receive power for phase 1 and phase 2, and we are now constructing all the power centers related to the distribution, such as substations and so on, in parallel with all the efforts of TCN to realize the connection to our city.
We're bringing you more reports in the Power Flash segment. Please don't go away.
In the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, we transmit bulk electricity from power generating companies, GenCos, to distribution load centers of various distribution companies, DISCOs. Nationwide, we do not generate electricity, neither do we distribute same directly to electricity consumers. TCN has 2 business units: the Transmission Service Provider, TSP, and Independent System Operations, ISO. The ISO comprised of System Operation, SO, and Market Operation, MO. The business units all perform specialized functions under the TCN umbrella. Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, wielding power for national economic growth. This message is brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
We appreciate you for sticking with us on this program. Join us next week on the same station for a refreshing edition of Power Wheel. This episode and the previous ones are available on our YouTube channel. You can also connect with us on these other platforms showing on your screen. I am Chinwenwa Anyanwu. Bye for now.